All right, so I want to welcome you guys to, I believe it's week 6. Is that right? Is it week 6? Week 6, yes. Okay, so welcome. Um, First, what I want to do is just take a moment and I want to recognize Lisa K. So, Lisa, just want you to be able to come off mute and just share a few wins that you've had by implementing some of the stuff that you and I've talked about and some of even the exact word choices
Yeah.
translated into Finnish. Tell the group this is amazing.
Okay, so Wednesday I got a new team member and
Okay, start over one more time. Okay, go ahead.
yesterday, no, Wednesday I have got a new team member and today because I've been building the systems and the content and stuff like that, so I've been actually lacking to doing invites. And because after this week, what been like all the challenges and the training, today I had like was it like seven or eight invites, which I just because I've been doing the homework, which been like you start try to start five conversation each day. So I've been doing that, but I haven't been like stop the conversation and do the invites. And then I remembered that Joan has give us this like uh, how to do it. So I just actually change it in our language because the people who I'm talking is Finns, but the it's like you are just saying that I don't actually know what's your situation and what your plans are, but like um, and or will there be anything for you? But would you be interesting to know what I'm doing?
Mm,
And
yeah.
then what happened? Like I have now get two already back who were answering for those after those questions. Like, yeah, I want to know what you do.
Yeah, so basically, guys, and Lisa, you did a great job. So let's give it up for Lisa. That's amazing. Really what Lisa's saying, and I think everyone really could understand it, but I'll just recap a minute. It's that statement that I share. I use it all the time. I have no idea where you're at or if this would even interest you, but I thought I'd throw it out there and just see, are you opened to knowing a little bit more about what I do? Okay. That really is the flavor of the question. I mean, to me, what felt so good about that and why I use that a lot is because I don't know where people are at. And it's a way to put it out there without any kind of constraints, like meaning people don't feel pressured because I'm just kind of being curious, right? I'm being curious. Are they opened? And they can tell me no. And sometimes they do. You know what, Joan? Thank you for thinking of me. Um, at this point, I have more on my plate than I can handle, or, I don't want anything to do with network marketing, whatever the answer. The point is, and what we've really been focused on here, guys, is your part in taking action, right? So I can't control the outcome of what people are thinking about what they're doing, but I just stay in my own power of what I can do. And Lisa, I just give it up to you because doing that homework, the connecting with five a week, it starts to elevate your confidence because you're in more conversations. So what happens is if you can do, five a week, right? If you can touch five people a day, a week, whatever it is, pretty soon you're not intimidated to do 10. or something like that. Does that make sense? Because you get into a routine and a habit of how you do it. The more you do it, the more confidence elevates and the better you feel. And then you start finding what I'd call like your rhythm. Okay. So, yeah, let's give it up one more time for Lisa. This is amazing. And it was really cute also the way she told me because she was like, I was making the connections, then I finally just used the word choices and voila, I had two people go, yeah, I want to know more. Just like that. So, guys, when I share word choices or things that have worked for me in the past, I want you guys to know, I'm doing this right along with you guys. And for example, this month, or, I mean, we're coming up at the end of March, I will have recruited 5 people. Okay. And it's with the stuff I teach you guys, right? It's no different. Firsthand, it's what I teach. Okay. So today we are going to be focused on really kind of, yes, the connection, but we're first going to start with talking about how we show up and how we show up having a network marketing business. Do you have store hours? Do you have boundaries? Do people know you? All right. So we're going to be talking about a little bit around your schedule, how you're treating your business, how you're showing up. And then we're going to go into um, a little bit around what I would call reframing. Okay. So it's really important that when the feeling of rejection comes, okay, like I feel like, oh, they said no to me. And maybe the initial response is, all right, I'm done with them. I want to move on or something. But what if you reframed it? And what if the no triggered you to open a relationship? So we're going to focus a little bit more on that. And then the third thing that we're going to talk about really is how to transition from connection to popping the question. And that's also, the timing was great with Lisa having that, because really we're going to cover that today. So, um, Lisa shared a win. Who else has a win that they would like to share? And it can be any win, guys. Anybody? I'm not huffing, I promise. It's just the Chinese herbs. Anybody? Come on, you guys. You got to have some kind of win. You're here. That's a win. Anything? All right, someone has to go. We can't have one win. We need to have a couple wins. Doesn't have to be directly around this. It can be just a win-win. All right, I'm not going until someone shares a darn win. You guys are a stubborn little group too, aren't you? Who's sharing a win? Erica, come on, share your win. Your teammates tell.
Well, my internet connection was gone when you were talking, but I'm guessing that you're asking for the win for this week
Yes,
or
yes,
something that went good.
yes.
Well, I noticed that more people see my posts that aren't my friends, so
All
that's
right.
very nice.
Awesome, awesome. So let's just talk about that for a minute, guys. If you're seeing an increase in non-followers or people that aren't friends, see, this is the way that we continue consistently to build our friends list. But what I want to say is, Erica, it's a testament to greater consistency. So Erica is probably becoming more consistent. The algorithm is seeing that. The other thing is she's probably going out and being that giver, like we talk about, those 10 or 15 minutes, commenting 4 or 5 words in people's posts, stories, talking to people in the DMs, birthdays. There's all kinds of ways that Facebook recognizes how we are being social. Okay. So, excellent job, Erica. I know for me, I can always tell when I have slacked off in that for some reason or another, or let's say something comes up and I didn't, for whatever reason, um, because my algorithm will drop, right? And I've even said to you guys, you can go look at my news feed and you can see some, pretty decent posts, and then you might go, oh, what happened? And unfortunately, when we're in challenges, I often go into jail. And jail is pretty common for, people that are what I would call assertive networkers. Okay. You can land yourself in jail pretty easily. I do a lot, but it does mess up the algorithm. So before we go on, because this is your business, who here knows if your algorithm gets totally messed up, what would you do to bring it back? What would you do to start elevating the algorithm again? And there's more than one answer. So I want you guys to participate. Yeah, Lisa.
Well, I would start continuing going back to that you are always on the same time and the same days again
Okay.
there. Mm.
Okay. So scheduling at a consistent time and looking at, am I doing it all the days? Excellent. That is one way to definitely raise the algorithm. Okay, what else? Sharon.
Boost your posts. Go
Okay.
back and answer your DMs. That'll boost the post back up.
Okay, so boosting the post, you can go back into the DMs. You can go, now I'm going to give you guys a little hack. You might want to write this down. Let's say that you had a static post that did pretty well, and you want to keep going with that message, maybe even on day 2. Okay, you can literally edit the post and change the first 2 sentences. Okay,
Mm.
does that make sense? So let me even give you even a higher level hack. So you could take and copy and paste the first 2 sentences. You could pull it into Chat GPT and you could say, these are the first 2 sentences of my original post. But what I want to do is have you rewrite it, keeping the same message or the same flavor. Are you guys with me? Um, but my goal is to raise the algorithm and have new eyeballs on the post. Okay. So do you guys see how that isn't a prompt that I keep like in my prompts? However, do you see how I'm basically spelling it out for Chat GPT of what I want, right? Chat GPT will spit that back out to me in less than 30 seconds. I can copy and paste it from there right over to my post. And guess what? My post is boosted. It's going back up to the top of the news feed. But I have to make sure what do I have to do before I do that post? I got to go out and be a giver. Okay? You guys with me? So do you see how there's many things that boost the algorithm? A third thing that I want you to know is always when in doubt, do an engagement post. Okay? Do an engagement post. Remember, nothing about the business, something that people just can't resist to comment on. Okay. And that will bring you back up. All right. So lots of different things that do it, but there's a couple things that do it more quickly than others. All right. Okay, guys, I just pulled a card for us, and I think this is so good because, I'm going through a little bit. My good friend Sharon down there knows that I've kind of had a couple things in my own world, and I'm sure each one of you have things in your world. I know Melissa's gone through a tough time. I know, many of us, Sharon's gone through some tough times. And I'm not, it doesn't have to be just in business. There's been a lot of stuff going on, hasn't there? There has. And it can weigh on us. So, one of the things that I teach in my Ignite the Light community is what is that way to elevate our energy so that we don't fall into a pit of low vibrational energy where now we're having more and more of that low stuff, fear, problems. Do you ever notice when you say, guys, oh my gosh, that comes in threes, and maybe you were on sneeze number one, and there comes the next one, and there comes the next one. Or, oh my gosh, I'm always getting hurt. And then maybe you said that when you stubbed your toe on number one. And guess what? At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you run through a sliding glass door screen or some damn thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? We don't realize how powerful we are with our thoughts. So we need tools. And gratitude is one of the very best tools to get you out of a funk or to elevate your energy. And I remember in the day I used to think like, oh yeah, a gratitude list, right? Like, come on, what am I going to be grateful for this, that, and I kind of poo-pooed it. But today I feel differently about it, and my life is different because of it. The main thing that I want to share with you guys is if I am feeling off, it's usually a form of fear. Okay, there's something going on with me. So write this down kind of in the corner of your notes or whatever. One of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves when it comes to personal growth is have awareness. So write that down. Awareness. In other words, I feel off, and maybe the old you just would have went with that and not even checked in with yourself. Okay. But maybe the new you today says, what has me feeling this way? And then you're able to kind of identify it. Like, oh, well, I got in a little bit of a tiff with my husband. I don't have a husband, but you know what I'm saying? Or, oh, geez, you know what? I woke up late and everything felt rushed. There's all different things that can put us in these places. Typically, what I want you guys to know is often they're outside of yourself, right? So, how do we get back on track into the higher level of living, the higher level of energy? Gratitude. So, gratitude is a gift to myself, and appreciation is when I express that gift to others. When I choose to be grateful for what I have, I get more. I will remind myself that gratitude creates a positive energy in my life. I will remember that people are drawn to people that make them feel appreciated and special. Flip the switch, and instead of thinking about what's not going right, to living in a state of gratitude. Be a gratitude and appreciation magnet. Here's what I want you guys to know. When the world or you feel like life is crumbling in some way, shape, or form, it's real easy for me to tell you, oh yeah, just get in gratitude. It's easy to say. It's not always easy to do. So what I do when I'm in that state and I know like I don't really want to be thankful, I just pause, I take a breath in, and I just say, I am grateful for what you are teaching me. I am grateful that I have awareness. I am grateful that I have, and I just start going. And what ends up happening within about 30 seconds, I feel that fear lifting. Okay. And then I get back into a better state. All right. That is a little personal development for you guys. And I will tell you that from when I first started network marketing, I think I was a little bit more of a, I always think I've been sort of positive, but I was not ever really aware of my thinking. I was sloppy with my thinking. I didn't ever pause and regroup, reframe, or anything. I just kind of rode the emotion. And my outcomes are much different than they are today. All right. So, we're going to talk about treating your business like a business. And I want to say this because I want you to think of there's so many areas of your business. Okay. You know, you've got social media, you've got your customer base or the customer side, whatever the products you sell, you've got it maybe a team or people that you're prospecting. You know, you've got maybe a full-time other job or children. So there's a lot of things that go into understanding how to best operate your business. But one of the things that I know is if you show up in a kind of casual or willy-nilly way, you will get casual or willy-nilly results. Does that make sense? So let's say that you have an hour a day to work your business, and you've determined that for you, you're going to do 30 minutes at 7 a.m. every morning, and you do another 30 minutes at 5 at night. And maybe when you lay down, you'll catch up on a few other things, whatever. But those are your time blocks, okay? The question then becomes, do you stick to those things, right? Or are you doing laundry during your time block? Are you making some food during the time block? And I'm going to tell you, if you start doing that, meaning number one, setting a schedule, but then if you start going over it and not respecting your schedule, you'll start feeling out of integrity, right? So guys, we want to treat our business like a business that and but at the same time we get to design it. Okay? So I choose to get up pretty early. I usually get up around 5 a.m. And I like to be kind of done with the major calls and stuff for me by 1. And I operate 3 different businesses. Okay? But one feels good to me because then I can schedule whatever, you know, nails, if I got to run errands, if I need to talk to somebody additionally. So I create freedom within my calendar, but my calendar is my discipline. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to encourage you. Here's something really good news. Stop being available all the time to everybody every time someone messages you. Just don't do that because you'll burn out really quickly. Okay. So decide, if you haven't yet, today. Let's just decide what your working hours are for this next week. I like to take things like a week at a time, and that way I can adjust. You know, oh, maybe I don't want to work till 1 every day. Maybe I want to work till noon every day, and I'm going to pick up an hour in the evening. That's an example, right? But what I want you to know is people respect structure, okay? People respect structure. And I'm going to say it like this. There's something I do when I share my company video with people. I share the video, and then immediately I say, you know, hey, KD, are you able to check that out right now or a little bit later this afternoon? And whatever she says to me, I've just given her some choices. And I'm going to tell you what, she usually picks one or the other. Most of the time, it's actually, I'll watch it right now because you already have their attention, right? But what ends up happening is we're still continuing to move that process forward. We're still in momentum. And so people respect that. You didn't let them go. People make the mistake of letting people go and using those killer words. And I say killer words not in a good way. This will kill your prospecting momentum. They go like this. Hey, Melissa, I'm going to send you the video. Just let me know after you're done watching it. It doesn't sound all that bad. It doesn't even sound, it sounds kind. And she'd probably go, okay, great. But I just gave my power away. Who's leading this journey? You are, not the prospect. They don't lead something they don't even know about. So I'm really driving this home because this is one of the biggest obstacles that I see people come up against. Joan, I'm getting ghosted. Joan, no one's getting back to me. I gave her the video, whatever. She's not. And then I say, what did you say? And they usually say something like, well, I just said when you're done watching it, ping me or let me know, right? It's the worst thing you can do. But here's what I want you guys all to know. This isn't to make you feel bad, because you should be asking me how many times did I do that before I learned how to solve that problem? Because I thought I was being nice, right? I didn't want to pressure them. But what I didn't realize is I'm now looking casual, or like this isn't that important, or like it's a hobby or something like that. And exactly, Sharon, I give my power away and then I turn into what? A chaser. I got to hunt them down. I turn into somebody that feels like, God, maybe they don't really want to do this. Somebody that's constantly in doubt, questioning. Did I do it? I don't know. Maybe I offended them. They're not even answering my DM now. It's not any of those things typically. People are busy. People are doing life. They're not invested yet. So I want you to consider how your process is going when it comes to recruiting. Do you have some set process that keeps you in that position? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, this is still under your business, is just creating consistency with the DMO. Okay, if you guys need a daily method of operation in addition to what we have given you, please DM me because we can do that. But what I find is when people know I have to do this, and this, and I've got 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at noon, whatever, they're going to do it versus, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to have a little thought time. Think about what post I'm going to put up there. Now all of a sudden I'm 10 minutes into my 30 minutes. You know what? I don't know. I'm a little confused. That can happen. And it can happen to the best of us. Lisa,
So can you please, so DMO, what are the words?
daily method of operation. So it's kind of like what I do every day, right? So there's reach outs, it's birthdays, being a giver, creating a static post, okay, follow through. All right. The DMO is really designed to keep you focused on income producing activities. Okay, I'm going to say this. I know I've already said this to this group, but I say it again. Guys, if you only have an hour to work your business, 75% of that hour should be spent, 75, 3/4 of that hour should be spent, I guess it is 75, on connecting with people and doing reach outs or follow through, talking to people. Okay. We have to get out of this feeling or out of this habit of, I'll do it when it feels right. I'll do it when I've perfected that. Guys, as an entrepreneur, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. That's what I'm telling you. There is no perfect. Perfect doesn't really exist in this kind of business. And you don't want it to be perfect because if it's too perfect, people won't join you either, right? Have you ever seen somebody that, every single thing when they leave their house is to the nines. It's in place no matter what. And again, I don't want to criticize because KD, you're a pretty put together woman, and I don't want you to think that I'm going, offending you. But I'm just giving you an example. Sometimes what happens is people will look at you and go, gosh, I could never do what KD does. You know, she's just always dressed to the nines. I'm more casual. She's always on point. Oh, I may be intimidated to work with her. Guys, that happens because people get an impression. Now, I'm not trying to say you show up like me right now and looking a little shabby or whatever. I'm just saying be yourself and forget perfect, okay? And replace perfect with this word. You guys ready? Practice, because that's really all we're doing. Okay, we're just practicing. And that takes the sting and the pressure off of you feeling less than or diminished in any way, shape, or form. All right, last thing I want to say about DMOs. So I mentioned to you, they should be new conversations, they should be follow through conversations and booking calls. If you did that for an hour a day, you would have a changed business. I'm just going to tell you. But what I see people do is they spend their time in, thinking about what they're going to post, making a graphic, trying to find the right picture, and they're not creating any generating income activities. Okay. So, keep that in mind when you're looking at what are you actually doing today. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is reframing. So, how many of you have ever felt a little diminished or a little, drop a one in the comments if you heard no and you're like, oh, I hate these reach outs. Yeah. Yeah. It's probably going to be the majority of us. I know I felt that way. And remember what I hope you guys are getting from me is I don't like to not feel good. I like to feel good every day. Okay. So, what it causes me to think about is leadership. You're hearing me go over this multiple times. See, you are all leaders in some capacity, whether you're leading in your family, leading in a friendship, leading in your business, leading your customers, leading a team. Okay. You're leading. And people can shrink because they start feeling and taking things personally, right? Like, oh, I've heard no all day long. And I typically would say to somebody, how many no's is that? Well, I don't know, Joan, it's been like 5 or 6. Took all day for that, huh? But that's how it feels to the person. So how do we combat that? Well, we first combat it with knowledge, which is leaders expand. Leaders don't let a no knock them off the beam. Leaders go, okay, next. Okay, I'm sifting and sorting, and obviously that's a sift. Or they go like this. What do I know about no? It means not now. It means maybe the person's not ready. It also means not the right time. Well, I already said that, not now, but maybe they don't feel like they have enough information. So there's all kinds of things why people say no. Now I'm going to give you a little tip. I just remind myself that no is never no forever, and you would not believe how many people have joined me by opening a relationship when I hear no. So let's say that I invited um, Christina to my business, okay? And Christina's like, no, you know, uh, right now, Joan, it's just we're building a new home, and my husband and I, I don't want to take on anything else. But I really have enjoyed getting to know Christina, maybe in Facebook or whatever. She's been on my posts a few times or something. So I might say something like this. Christina, I totally can respect where you're at. Watch these words. Well, you tell me, would you like me to check back in with you in, say, a month or two, or if we have any specials going on? Or would you like me to cross you off the list? See how that really sifts and sorts the prospects? Let, most of the time, people don't want to be crossed off the list most of the time. However, if they do, I'm good with that too, because I just now don't, I know that that person's out. Okay. But most of the time, they'll give you permission to what? Follow through again. And this is when I start getting to know them in between now and the month from now, the Tuesday that they agreed to. So let's say that they said, yeah, Jonah, you know what? Why don't you follow up with me? It's the end of March. Why don't we look to, you know, end of April, beginning of May? So I go right to my calendar right then and there, right? Because I just gave them an option. Do you want me to check back in or do you want me to cross you off the list? They just now told me, they gave me permission. I want you to check back in end of April or whatever it is. So then I go to my calendar and I go, okay, I do a lot of follow up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, gosh, let me look here. Um, okay, I could do Tuesday the 28th, Melissa, at, you want to do it same time, 10 a.m.? And she might go, great. Or she might say, oh no, I'm out of town that day. Okay. I could also do it on the 27th, of Monday, if we did it in the afternoon. How's that sound? How do you like 4? What time zone are you in? Okay, great. You see? And now what do I have? I have another appointment with someone that told me no. And I've just what? Opened a relationship. Okay? You know how many people hear no and they never talk to that person again? I call that the dropping like they're a hot potato syndrome. I'll get you, Lisa, one second. So when you do that, guys, when you drop someone like a hot potato that you've been trying to get to know for a while, it feels what? Disingenuine. It feels like, oh, they only wanted me for the sale. So get to know people. If you focus on connecting and being interested in people, I promise you, you will never feel spammy again. I don't feel spammy. I have more leads than I know what to do with. Why? Because I talk to an awful lot of people every given day. Okay? That's the only difference. I seek people. Hey, how's it going? I just saw your post. How cool is that? I'm just making conversation, complimenting, finding a commonality, seeing something cool, seeking to be interested. How are you doing? We haven't talked for a long time. Okay. All right. So we can take what we think rejection is and we can reframe it as a leader expands and opens relationships. I want to help you with one thing. When you open a relationship, are you going back every single time, on a weekly basis to talk about your business? And no, you're not. So let me give you a couple things that you can do. You can offer them some free value. So let's say that they were looking at, maybe you're in a skincare company, maybe like Melissa's in crypto, there's all these different things that you guys are doing. You could offer them some value. Hey, you know what? I would love to share a few tips with you. Um, should you ever be interested? Or I would love to share this additional video with you just to give you a little bit more information. Um, you know, maybe you see some way that you could add value to their life. Okay. So you're not just following up about the business and planting seeds, but you can create value. You can create more curiosity. And all this does over time, guys, is just builds your relationship and it builds trust. Okay. So I'm going to give you this little kind of leader mindset. I don't chase decisions. I build relationships that lead to them. Does that make sense? I'm going to write that for a post. Damn, Joan, you just kind of wowed yourself there a minute. No. But think about that. I don't chase decisions. I build relationships that lead to them. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give you one more thing when we're talking about reframing and opening relationships. So, most people, and I know this because again, I have team members, students, and I have clients, coaching clients. So, most people are not following through. Okay. Most people quit after their first message. Remember I mentioned that? They hear no and they're on. They're moved on. Leaders stay in conversation. I can't tell you how many high-level leaders message me every single day. Is it because they're trying to get somewhere? I don't know. But I'll tell you what I do feel. Connection. I feel sincere connection. I mean, leaders aren't stupid, meaning, of course, everyone knows that we're all online in a business. We can be proud of that, right? It doesn't have to be anything like, oh, they're going to think I'm trying to sell them something. You're in business. If you had a storefront and you owned a little coffee shop, aren't you trying to sell your coffee? You're not trying to hide it. You're like, come on down to my coffee shop. Be patient. Okay, I will tell you, I have signed more people by staying in conversation. And the record knows that I heard from one person. You guys ready? Have I ever told you? 16 no's from a gal who ended up joining my second or third company and did over $10 million in volume. 16 no's. And it became a joke on about like 6. Hey Jody, it's Joan. How's it going? How's the weather up there in Squim, Washington? You know, she knows why I'm following back up. But do you know what was really cool about it, you guys? She told the story more than I did. She told the story on lives. She told the story to her team members about how valued she felt because I never gave up on her. That's what she said. And I told her, it wasn't about giving in, giving up, none of it. I just liked you and wanted you on my team. That's the truth. I knew her for a long time, like over the course of time. I knew her. Okay? I knew she could crush it. I knew, and she did. Okay? So, silence kills more deals than rejection ever will. Write that down. If you aren't talking and you're silenced, or you're not talking to people, you're just doing your busy work in your office, guess what? You're killing more deals than any rejection will ever. Okay? All right, let's go to the third thing. But let me pause here. Are you guys picking up some good information, either reinforcing what you know? What are some takeaways so far? Who wants to come off mute and let me know what maybe is speaking to them? Anybody? Yes, Lisa. Oh, yeah, I forgot to call back on you. I'm sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, no worries. So I actually have a question for that. Uh, so between that time when you've been make the the booking for 1 month later, tomorrow, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Between that time, from now until the booking time, do you still like do like like you go like, hey, how are you, blah 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 blah,
Yes.
on like like you still continuing doing that until you reach the time
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
don't stop the
Yeah. So
yeah.
let me give you some of the specific things that you can do, guys. You can I put them in a list of hot leads and I stay interested in them. I don't care if they're going to join me or not. That is not I don't ever think about that. I believe that God will put in front of me the right people that want an opportunity that I can offer them for some level of solution for themselves. Okay? I'm not looking at it like, oh, I'm going to stay in contact so that she's going to join me in a month. Now, and Lisa, I'm not saying you're thinking that. I just want you guys
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know I really am interested in the person. I become
Mm.
to like them. So you can go to their main Facebook page, you can go to their stories, you can go to the DMs, you can text them if have regular phone, whatever. But do you see, you're just letting them know, I see you. How's it going? Just ask them, how's your week been going? Just thinking about you. Because you were. It came to mind. All right.
Yeah, perfect, thanks.
Okay. And this skill will change everything. I'm telling you. Okay. I'm going to go to 3. We're going to go from transitioning from the connection to popping the question. This is a big one. Drop a 2 in the comments if you really want to understand this a little bit more. Oops. Okay, good. Okay. So I believe that this is one of the biggest opportunities with network marketers is they get a little bit like when, what is the time frame of when I should, go from connection, right? To popping the question. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, write this down. One message, unless you're doing a direct reach out where I'm like, hey, Melissa, it's Joan. We haven't talked for a couple months. Girl, I have always loved you. In other words, see, I know her. I have no idea what you're up to or if this would even interest you, but I did most recently just join a new company, or there is a special going on in my company, and I'm just going to put it out there. Again, I have no idea where you're at, but I just thought I'd see if you're open to taking a peek. It could be something you might like. Okay, that's the direct. Okay, but most of these times, when you're doing that connection to popping the question, you're probably just meeting them more or less on Facebook or in the, reactions or comments. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is do not rush this process. Write that down. Don't rush and don't stall. Okay. So you're like, okay. So write this down. The first message is too soon. The third message is too long. So what does that tell you? Pretty much about the second interaction, you want to just be forthright. Okay. You can also say something like, gosh, I have so loved chatting with you. Wow, it seems like you and I have a lot in common. You would be amazing. You would be an amazing partner. I'd love an opportunity, to partner with you. Again, I have no idea, Lisa, where you're at or if this would even interest you, but are you open to taking a peek? That's popping the question. Are you curious to know a little bit more about what I do? So see how you bridge it? You bridge it with understanding that you've already made a connection and you still maybe don't know enough about where they're at and what's most important to them, but you didn't want to let the opportunity go by without seeing if they had any level of interest. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to also help you now with kind of a clean bridge statement. So write this down. I love chatting with you about this, and whatever that could be. Maybe you're chatting about her home life, her work life, her, problem. Okay, another bridge statement so that there's no weird pivots or awkward energy can be, gosh, Christina, it's been a minute, but you've been on my mind, came to mind. I have no idea where you're at or if this would even interest you. But recently I've joined a travel company where you can get incredible discounts and wholesale prices. I don't know, maybe you're open to taking a peek as a customer. You and your husband travel, maybe, or maybe you want to make a little money like me. No idea. But are you open to taking a peek? Okay, some people will use this, I'm not sure if this is for you, but, and you could also do the old, hey, I've got something to ask you. I gotta tell you, recently I started with this incredible health and wellness, and what sets us apart is our blah, 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 blah. We just recently had some new products drop. I don't know if you've ever heard about what I do, heard about, you know, uh, my company, but are you open to hearing more? Okay. So that's a, hey, can I ask you something? Hey, we've been talking a little bit and I really love your energy. You seem really nice and sincere. Can I ask you a question real quick? So that's another way to bridge. Personally, I like the ones I shared with you first. I like to share a compliment or something I see in the person. Okay? I'm going to show you another way where we can ask really clearly that leads to a time. So we anchor in a time. Okay, so now let's say that Deb says to me, yeah, Joan, I am opened to hearing a little bit more. Okay, we stay in our power. Are you guys with me? We stay in our power. What do? Deb, it might be fun if you and I hopped on a phone or a Zoom, and I learned a little bit more about you and we explored some possibilities. Now, if I see, like maybe I'm in the DMs and maybe there's some hesitation, that can happen. I usually do this. If ever I sense hesitation, I say, and listen, Deb, here's the deal. This may or may not be right for you. So I want you to know you can tell me no. In fact, if it doesn't seem right, tell me no fast because I don't want to waste your time or mine. And I'm going to tell you what, Deb is thrilled and she does not feel threatened because I just gave her an out. Now, in traditional sales, they don't want you to do that. They really don't. But I do it all the time in network marketing because it works. People will either move closer to you, right? Because you gave them an out, or they'll take the out. Great. Now we're moving on. You see what I mean? What are we moving on to? Opening a relationship. Now, when I say opening the relationship, you guys, I want to make sure we're really clear on this. This isn't like opening a best friend relationship. I'm not going to be messaging them every single day. It's like maybe once a week until they want to talk again, or maybe we don't set an appointment. And I just chat with them every so often. I mean, I've got they're in my ticker box to message once a week. Okay, so here's the formula. This is the system. Write this down. It's a complement or connection, right? So just write complement / connection leads to the invite. Hey, you want to check out what I'm doing? Sure. You know what? I'm open to looking at something else. And then it goes to a time option. Now, here's how I get the time. Katie, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but typically my Thursdays and Fridays are a little bit more open in the afternoon. Let's say it's a Wednesday. Okay. I don't say that if it's a Sunday. I want to get urgently in front of them. They're open today. I might see if I have some time today. Do you see where I'm going? Urgency is key. You always want to take the very next time that you've got available. Okay? So I might say something like, you know what, it's been so fun kind of going back and forth. And I do think that you might be incredible at this. Of course, I don't know, if it's something you're going to love, but would you be open to taking a peek? I do have some time available later today. I could either meet you on a Zoom at 4 or 5. How does something like that work for you? See how it's always you? I'm wanting to find out more about the prospect. I'm not saying we can get on the phone, I'll answer all your questions and, we'll determine if it's a right fit. That's not bad, but I want to say, you know what? Let's hop on a Zoom or a phone or a FaceTime. I would love to know you more, answer some questions, and obviously see what you loved most about the video. And who knows? This may or may not be right for you, but at least you'll get all the information in order to make an informed decision. See? You guys like that? Okay. If you don't give direction, you're going to get delay. Write it down. If you don't give direction, you're going to get delay. And delay turns into ghosting. So I'm going to say that one more time. If you don't give direction, you're going to get delay. And delay turns into ghosting. Okay, so Megan's going to come on here in just a minute, guys. But again, this is the homework for today. You're going to define your business hours, and we're just going to create some consistency. I want you to start it for this week. Let's just go 1 week, and then you can adjust. Okay, you're going to open 5 new relationships or connections. Okay, and you guys saw Lisa's been doing that. She's been getting a lot of results. Okay, you're going to choose your pop the question language. I gave you a ton of it. Wasn't that helpful? Yeah, and it felt really good. And I want you guys to focus on getting 2 booked appointments this week. 2 people you're going to talk to over the next 7 days. All right? Okay. Any takeaways or anything you guys want to share before Megs gets on? What spoke to you most? What was most helpful? Okay, Dee.
Yeah, what you said was really good today. Um, I I have trouble with a schedule all the time. Like I have a lot of free time. Um, I have several CRMs and all that. Are
Yeah.
you using a CRM or are you writing it on paper or
So I
how are you
pretty
tracking?
much I used to keep a paper calendar a lot, and sometimes I'll write things so I can see the month, but I just use a Google Calendar.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, can't really see it, but
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
really does help me discipline myself to the time. You know what I
Mm.
also find, you guys, just so you know, the more time I have, the less I get done unless I am so scheduled. but I build freedom into my calendar. I can't, I mean, if you're going to ask me, do you ever work 12 hours a day? The answer is yes, but that isn't my goal long term. Okay. So I might do some sprint days or whatever, but I build freedom into my calendar so I don't hyperventilate. But I do stick by my calendar and I don't schedule every little thing like blow dry my hair 10 minutes or, not like that. Okay. But I do schedule my priorities, my fun, and my like if I have a kids activity or a grandchild activity or like a lunch date, if Megan and I are going to Houston's, she told me she wanted to take me there here pretty soon for lunch. Look at her laughing, right? Anyway, I will schedule that stuff. I will not miss my Houston's lunch with Megs. Okay.
Yeah, except every time we go, she's like, "Oh, I can't wait to go. We're gonna get this," and then we go, and something happens that day. She's like, oh, I'm so sick to my stomach, I can't even, or something, and she barely eats, and then I'm shoving my face with all the food.
Well,
Anyways.
I definitely love yeah, anyway, you guys don't need to know. All right. Okay, I'm sure
No,
I'm
they
going to
want to
tell
know,
them.
I think. They
Yeah.
want to know that we get let's just tell them real
Let's
quick.
tell them. Let's
We
tell
get
them.
okay, so we get iced teas, then we have the grilled artichokes. I hear they're back, so we do
Oh,
need to
well,
go.
yeah.
Then usually maybe a shrimp cocktail or the smoked salmon. And then we're pretty much done. So like we can't even order an actual lunch. Sometimes the Caesar salad, but Joan will have to send it back because they changed the recipe and it's horrible. And then we'll get the 5 nut brownie. I might go crazy and get a coffee. And that's about it. And then
Yeah.
we're stuck for the rest of the day. Or I am. I roll out of there like a baked potato. And she like barely ate. So
Well, I am a bit of a snacker eater. This is true, but I do eat all day long a lot, kind of. So, all right, you guys. Well, listen, I'm going to turn it over to Megan. It was really good today. I loved hearing from you guys as well, and I feel like you guys have a lot of word choices and tools, and so I'm really excited next week when we come back to hear some wins because I'm making a note. I didn't hear as many wins as I want to hear, and I want to hear some wins, you ladies. All right. Okay, love you guys. Oh wait, Megan.
yeah, make me just stop the recording and then I should be co-host. I don't know.
There, you can
Yeah.
stop her.